Whoops, wrong screen. Anyways, we are back with another Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise analysis, speedrun analysis. Last time, I did an analysis of the former world record, which was actually done 5 years ago as of yesterday, January 20th, 2020. And I just noticed that when I went to go pop up the record again today. So, yeah. I went through last night and I actually wrote down the individual level times so we can actually see who did better by how many seconds. Now, it's not 100% accurate because I was having this at 2x speed, so I might have missed a second or two, give or take, per level, but I think I have a pretty accurate gauge of who did better than what. And in my video title, I said that this speed run record is up for grabs, which it is, because I've made a bunch of mistakes in this, but I also made a couple improvements over, and I'm just going to say Jaden. I made a couple improvements over Jaden in speed run. But today we're going to go over mine, and I actually have mine on mute because it will be very distracting listening to myself speak in the game while also hearing me speak now. It might confuse anyone listening. I'm going to end up trying to talk to myself. So, yeah. Alright, well, let's go ahead and get started, and I'll be counting out comparisons and talking about comparisons as we go. So, let's go ahead and jump into this. So, if you did watch my previous analysis, two things you're going to notice immediately when I actually jump into this. One, I did not start the same level as they did, and I have a different starting costume. I started with, who's this, Cuddles? I already missed it. We'll see. Yeah, so we're starting with Cuddles, and I'm starting off in my regular costume that I'm going to keep for the majority of the playthrough. Now, what Jaden had was the Quantum Fists, and they actually, just to make sure, they beat my time on this level by about 3 seconds. And, yep, 3 seconds, and I believe that's entirely due to the Quantum Fist, because the Quantum Fist can, punch faster than the Scythe. So, you can definitely make an improvement there just by doing that. Pudding, there wasn't really much you can do on Pudding. You just grab Pudding and throw him into, the plant monster. So that's really it. Other than very minor movement improvements you can make, but you're gonna maybe save a couple milliseconds, which might add up to a whole second. And I believe it does here. Yes, my Pudding run was better than theirs by 1 second, and I think that's just because they got caught on a bear trying to escape, or maybe it took them slightly longer from the path they took. I'm not really sure. Also could have messed that up when I was counting. Now, they also beat me on Goober. So, I did not think of this. I just wanted to grab the bear closest to Goober and change costumes. However, Jaden grabbed the bear, which is right there, which is right next to the woods, compared to me grabbing this bear and walking over to the woods. So they also beat me at this level. And I thought I did pretty good on that one. So yeah, I could have made an improvement by grabbing a different bear closer to the woods. So they beat my Goober level by 3 seconds. There isn't going to be too much pausing because if you could just watch the original video to see where my mindset was throughout everything. I'm just going back through with the knowledge I have now, because at this time when I was actually doing this speedrun, I never actually seen the previous one. So I'm rewatching this with this knowledge. Let me pull up my chart real quick. Trembles. Okay, so yeah, there isn't really much you can do on Trembles. I believe they just went up and just grabbed him immediately, while I went for the attack to kind of launch him closer to the fire. But we got the same exact time, so not really any improvements you can make. You just grab them, throw them in the fire, and move on. Easy enough. Fluffy. Okay, so Fluffy, I did have an improvement. This was like my first good improvement over Jaden's speedrun. And it took me a bit to practice on this one because I kept messing up at a couple times during my speedrun, and I had to go back through and actually practice this level over and over until I got it right. Because Fluffy would keep following me. So what I would do is I would do an attack cancel on that bear right there to get them to chase me. Because if you attacked and then let them attack back at you, Professor Brightness might attack Fluffy and slow them down. What Jaden did is they scared Fluffy into this house. So they were corralling him versus me, where I was just leading, which is slightly faster in that regard. Although, my run could have ended right here because when you're doing an object kill while you're being attacked, there's a chance the bear you're holding will get glitched and will be in an unkillable state, and you cannot interact with them, which would completely mess up the level. And this is one of the longer levels, too, so just a simple restart wouldn't be good enough to fix any mistakes. So, on Fluffy, I had a 28-second improvement over Jaden's. However, that's not the best improvement. Is it? Oh, no, that is. That is the best improvement. So, yeah, I think Fluffy right there. Fluffy's the reason why they still don't have the world record. Because that's about 28 seconds. That's a 28-second difference. Sunbeam. So, with Sunbeam, they actually changed into the proper sword to kill Sunbeam, while I chose to use my scythe and kill this bear, take their sword, and then kill Sunbeam. Now, if you see there, I tried to do a grab, which I was trying to grab the weapon, and I accidentally tried to grab Stardust, and they pushed me off. And I only lost this level to Jaden by 1 second, so I believe that extra grab kind of cost me, well, I could have did better, is the point I was making. Didn't really cost me anything, but yeah, Jaden did better by 1 second. I do believe this because of my missed grab on Stardust. And, alright, I'm going to pause real quick. So, one thing I will say, too, while I did do the level-by-level comparison, you know, like, who did better in what level, that doesn't tell the full story. Because time you spent in the menu, I wasn't counting. Because Jaden did more weapon swapping and costume swapping than I did, which I'm pretty sure is the reason why I ended up taking the world record. Because while their individual levels were pretty good and better, it was the stuff outside of the levels that kind of cost them. And who is this? Nibbles? Yeah. Nibbles. So, I actually did have an improvement on this one. Hey, what's up, Jaden? I was just talking about you this whole time. Near the end, actually, I'm gonna, well, I'll show the chart. I don't know if it's appropriate to post. I don't really know what would help. But if you want to retake the world record, you know, I got some advice on what you could do. Because honestly, and as I was just saying, your individual levels actually beat mine almost completely. The only thing that cost you was your time spent in menus. So on this particular level, what was it, Nibbles? I had a 7-second advantage. I don't remember why that was. Oh, this is just an analysis. I'm kind of done running. I really I want somebody else to like come in, either you or somebody. Let me go ahead and pause. You or somebody outside of the just you and me to kind of take it to add some competition there. So yeah, I'm just doing an analysis. So if anybody wants to come in and, you know, use what you have and use what I have and combine the two methods to get ahead. Because I did a little bit of the math, and I'm going to point out at the end of the video, but you can... it's kind of a spoiler. I'm going to wait. But yeah, there's definitely some improvements someone can come in and take. So this video is kind of for anybody. You know, you could take it. Random person could take it. Though the problem is for a random person, they need to level up their Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise level to have better stats. And that takes, I'm sure you know, that takes a very, very long time, which is probably the only reason why no one would really want to take this record. Even though the record's there, there's improvements to make. But the work up to it's kind of annoying. Okay, so, oh, yeah, no, Jaden, you, like, I'm going to show the chart later. Your individual levels beat almost every one of mine. Like, completely. It was the time you spent in the menus that got you. So if you would have... Actually, while you're here, I want to ask the question. Why did you start with the Professor Brightness suit? That's like my main question, because the time that it took you to change out of that and back, I don't really understand, because it kind of seemed unnecessary. The costume I'm using here is more or less the same costume you ended up using throughout the entire run, so we had that same thing. I was just curious on the first Professor Brightness costume, but I'll let the video play while you're typing that out. Okay, so what level is this? Got distracted. Bubbles. Wait, is it Bubbles? Bubbles. Okay, so on Bubbles, I got ahead by 2 seconds, and that is because we're going to bring it back. I chose to use the object kill right here, while Jaden turned around and used the one that's off camera, and that alone cost 2 seconds. And again, the risk, I'm gonna back up again. There is a risk with using this one right here, as I said in one of the other levels. If you get attacked the exact moment you do an object kill, the person you're holding will be glitched and they won't be able to get killed, and you'll have to reset the level because you can't recover it. I played the game a long time, so I forgot what Brightness Suit gives. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was for stamina. But yeah, I was watching that because my main thing is I said this during my speedrun during my last analysis. I try to do as minimal costume changes as possible for 2 reasons. One, it does take up time, unless the time changing costume is actually made up for by a good margin in the level. And 2, anytime you change a costume or anytime you have to go back into the menus, there's a better chance your game will crash. So I can kind of see why you did all the costume changing in the front. Because that was the best chance your game would crash. Because I actually had a really good run one time, and I had to change costumes, and it crashed my game. And I do plan on doing an actual new game speedrun, but I'm kind of concerned about that because of the crashes. So I might have to just eat the crashes as part of my time. So, all right. I already talked about Bubbles. So Bubbles was, what was it, 2 seconds? Greasy. Greasy's just... Greasy's straightforward. You grab Greasy, you throw him in the truck. Now, Jaden went different than I did. I chose to throw him into the truck on the left. Oh, I chose to throw Greasy here. Jaden chose right. The reason why I choose left is, and Jaden actually almost got caught, because since this bear sees that you're naughty and that bear sees that you're naughty, they'll try to attack you, which if they close up, if they close ranks right here, that'll stop you from getting right to the car, which could actually cost you a second. So I chose this one, even though I think this bear kind of blocked me. Okay, no, not on this run. That was a previous run. But yeah, just do that and you can just run out. So we actually had the same exact time, even though we chose different cars. So really, it didn't really matter. I just think the right car is more risky. Flopsy. Let's go to Flopsy. I definitely messed up on Flopsy. So there's 2 levels in particular I messed up on. Flopsy is one. And what was the other one? Doctor. I messed up bad on Doctor. I actually died on that one. So Jade and I did 2 different things here. I kind of forgot what they did. I think they kind of pre-attacked. It took them longer. And I think they grabbed Flopsy and brought them over, while I just hit the window to get them all to follow. Now, I made a mistake here, because I still like the tactic I was doing. And my normal tactic in my previous other, runs where I made it this far, I would actually do, like I'm doing here, I would do a heavy strike, and it would actually hit this bear and Flopsy at the same time. But the problem is, I waited too long for Flopsy to catch up, so when I was getting ready to do it, this bear ran off, so he didn't get hit, and then I didn't even hit Flopsy. Now, the problem with him running away is he's going to fight Gruel, and Gruel is going to get distracted fighting him. And I was trying to get him off Gruel, because what happens, too, if Gruel tries to back up, he will fall into the fucking trap, which happened, I think, on attempt number 12 or 11. And, Flopsy, as you can see, starts fucking running away. Struggle with the insanity missions a lot. Yeah, I've seen that. So, I went... And I was going over this when I went over your run. Actually, if you want to see, I did on, what was it, Thursday, I actually went over your run completely. And I made the same mistake, too, with the general. I don't really think it's a... I think this one's more intentional. Because in Naughty Bear 1, you can actually kind of stack bears, like seeing different things happening. I don't think this game could actually handle the fact that one bear could see like multiple naughty things and rack up score. So I think there was sort of a cooldown period, because if all those numbers were happening one after another, I'm entirely sure the game would crash. So I believe they put a sort of cooldown for when they could see, something bad happening. So you can't just kill a bear, then another bear next to them. So yeah, Flopsy ran away, and I had to go grab him while I was praying that the other bears weren't fucking team up and killing Gruel. Luckily, they ended up trapping themselves. I've had plenty of other better Gruel kills. Okay, so this one was... yeah, so I had to knock him back. Gruel finally got him, and that cost me quite a bit of time. Now, I know Jaden also had to go recatch Flopsy, so both of us could have had a better run here, but Jaden ended up having a better time. Yeah, they beat my time by 14 whole seconds. Silky. Silky's another easy one. On my chart, it says I won by 1 second, but I also said in the beginning of the stream that my timing for some of these things when like mission starts, and actually let me see if I could back up so I can kind of explain my little methodology. Oh, I hope I didn't back up too far. Didn't go through. I'll check it. I'll check it here in a second. Because because I'm on incognito right now. Okay. Oop, and I missed it again. I hope YouTube didn't try to no, because I don't have any flags set. Okay. So the way I did our timings is I'd wait for the continue button to pop up, and that's when I started counting. Now, I might have missed it, because as far as I can see, you and I had very similar paths on Silky, so even though I said I had 1 second plus, that could have just been due to me having a timing error, because you and I essentially just made the same path. Although, I think you cut through more on the dance floor, if I remember correctly, but again, that was a couple days ago. So yeah, Silky's just straightforward. You grab Silky, throw him on the spike, you move on. Ain't much else to say. Oh, another thing I did differently. So Jaden used the white underwear. I used the gold underwear. The white underwear has more insanity, but I think the gold underwear has more stamina. Because I was wondering about that. But I wasn't too worried about insanity. For the most part, if you kill 2 bears in front of another bear, they'll just go insane when you have really high insanity. Okay, so... what level is this? Is this Giggles? Okay, so Giggles is kind of funny. Jaden and I had completely different routes for this, but we ended up with the same exact time. That being said, I think Jaden's route is better, and it could have been improved on by 1 second. So let me go back and explain my method, because I don't really like grabbing bears and bringing them out to where they need to get killed. So my goal is to get the bears to follow me themselves, so I don't have to spend time, walking with them slow. They'll just run. The problem is, Giggles will automatically go for the weapon that's back here. Jaden grabbed Giggles, sat, I think, in this bush for a second, waited, and then brought them to the lawnmower. Now, I think if they just would have ran straight to the lawnmower from here, they would have got a better time, although that is risky because you'll have other bears attacking you. So while they grabbed and went straight there, I let the bear chase after he grabs this weapon right here, and then let him follow me to the lawnmower. Two completely different routes. We ended up with the same exact time. So I just thought that was funny. So let it play out again. And I was trying not to speed too fast because I didn't want to outrun the bear and make them disinterested. And I chose this lawnmower. They chose the one closer to the door. And then they went on the left door. I went on the right door. So I believe Jaden had a better route. Even though we got the same time, I believe Jaden's has more room for improvement. You can't really improve mine anymore. Like, this is it. So if you'd use Jaden's route and maybe pick a different lawnmower or go out there quicker, you could probably get time down on that. Twinkles. What was Twinkles? I had +2 on Twinkles. I don't remember why. I don't remember why that is. I think it's because I had more stamina and I was able to run straight for the door. I believe Jaden was running low on stamina and had to kind of like caution their stamina a little bit, otherwise they'd run out. So I said, I wonder why they keep accidental mini boos. If you use your mini boo, your stamina meter will freeze for a few seconds. So, oh, better close that because my mobile can't read. Freeze for a few seconds, so I keep sprinting when it's slow. Oh, I didn't realize that. See, okay, yeah. Okay, now I know what you're talking about. Yeah, I just literally thought you were just hitting it. Interesting. So one thing I will say that I think the mini boos also slowed you down a bit because I never really had trouble with stamina in any of my level. Well, except for Udu. I believe Udu's the only level that I had to actually worry about stamina. And I guess the alien Zoctopus, but the bush was right there. So that is interesting. I didn't realize that mechanic. Okay. So like I said, Twinkles was, I think, at a 2-second improvement. I believe that was due to recovering stamina. So Juggles. I also, well, wait, was it Juggles? Or was it the General? The General Insanity one I had an issue with. I actually like mine with Juggles. So I grab the trap, and what I do is I try to get the other bears here to realize that I'm Naughty Bear. Personally, I would prefer to, be undisguised, so all the bears would just chase me automatically. However, going in to change my disguise to take Sunbeam's face off would take time, and I'd scare us crash the game. So I want to get these bears to know that I'm naughty, so they would chase me in here. He's just going to walk into the trap, so Juggles will see that bear getting trapped. Although I wanted these bears to chase me, they didn't do it. So if there's one improvement I would make, it was to get them to, be more proactive in chasing me. I did my Mega Boo, which got Juggles to hear it. So I brought this bear in. So he sees the injury. He sees that bear. I don't know why he's not doing anything, but he got to see this murder. But wait, did he see both or did he just see one? So he's seen one. Wait a second or two, and then there, he's seen the second murder. And then from that point, just 2 boos. Got him. Now, I believe I could have got the other bears to follow me quicker. I could have knocked that down. Oh, we're split. Besides the sandy ones is the Fluffy. Oh, yeah, no. Fluffy, I went over this earlier. Fluffy, I had 28 seconds over yours. And I didn't beat your speed run by very much. So literally, if you did the exact same speed run, but just did Fluffy the way I did it, you would beat my time. And like I said, at the end of the stream, I will be pulling up the chart because I worked for a good minute on that chart, and I think I made it look nice. So, like I said, Juggles was 7 seconds. Jacques Zetickler is actually pretty easy. Although, I think it's kind of random because I've actually had some runs where, this one's pretty good because he was right here, but I've had some runs where the tickler is actually kind of over here and I had to go chase him down. So you just grab the trap right here, get him to run into it, and then snap his neck. Now, I probably could have improved it by, you know, bringing the trap a little bit closer to him. But, you know, that's it. Jaden did win this one by 1 second. And I believe that's because they actually took the trap closer. Alright, so at this point, I changed to the Rod of Justice. Before, I was actually, on my previous runs, I would wait until the very end and then come all the way back. But I just decided to do it here and now. By the way, that's how I use Light Split if you want to learn to use it. I appreciate it. Yeah, I'll look into it next time I try to do a run. But I think I'd probably mess up on the splits too. If it's something you had to trigger manually. Okay, so Danger Bear. So he's not called Danger Bear in this game. It's just Danger Clark Kent. I like Danger Bear from the original. Jaden had a better score of 1 second, and it's easy to see why. So I put the trap in front of him because I figured he's already facing this way. So if I do a mini boo, he'll just walk onto the trap. Jaden's idea was to put it next to him, so when you grab him, kill him, you have an easier track out to the door. Jaden's idea was better. Also, I don't think I need to be that far away. Honestly, I was watching this at 2x speed yesterday. Now that I'm watching at regular speed, he looks like he's not even running. Now, I switched back to the scythe, and I'm trying to think if I needed to use the scythe anymore. Okay, so Robo Bear. We actually took two complete different paths on this. Jaden actually had a better score by 3 seconds. So Jaden grabbed the bear, put the bear into the woods, stole their costume, grabbed the trap, and then went up to the Robo while they weren't expecting it. Which I didn't really think of that. Oh, and they started with the branch while I came over to this side to grab the branch. I didn't feel like changing weapons, so I just went to grab the branch and the trap. Mine's a lot more riskier for 3 seconds longer. So Jaden's individual route works better because I had an issue which cost me about 1 or 2 runs where I'd put the trap here. Professor Brightness would actually run first and run to the trap, which is why, and back up for a second, which is why I came up with a new method. So when I would get to the bush over here, I would actually wait, because before I would just run straight to him, so Professor Brightness would run. So now I sit and I wait for a second for this Robo Bear to get ahead of Professor Brightness. And even still, it's kind of a risk. Then another thing I have to do, all these bears will fucking kill you. So I do a super boo to like get them all distracted so I can run around, grab the Robo, kill him with the stick, and run out. So it's a lot more, my method's a lot more complicated, and it still takes more time. It takes 3 seconds more. However, and goes back to what I said earlier. Just because the time's better doesn't tell the full picture, because Jaden actually changed to the stick, and the stick changing time kind of added to their overall time. Though I do like the idea of grabbing, so I might next time try it to see if I like their method. My problem is, personally, I have a hard time finding items in the heat of the moment. So like when I'm going through all the list of items, I sometimes get lost, which is another reason why I prefer not to do it. So really, there's 3 reasons: 1, it takes time; 2, the game might crash; and 3, I'm just not really that good at finding them quickly. I'll also tell you why I switched to the Cypher Flopsy. I've done the same thing with Quantum Fist. I don't remember my thinking process back then. Yeah, because I honestly didn't even think of Quantum Fist until I started seeing yours, because I forgot that Fists are fast. I mean, I knew that Fists were faster, but, you know, they have less damage. But the Quantum Fists do a lot of damage, especially when the other bears are using them against you. So I think using the Quantum Fist could actually save me so much time on some of my other levels. Because really, the main reason why I stuck with the Scythe was because I like to get on the Sunbeam level. I would like to get in front of Sunbeam and the Alien to knock them both down with one hit, so they'd already be pre-injured. However, that one's kind of backfired on me, so I changed my method to only hit the Alien. And since I'm only hitting the Alien now, I don't really need the Scythe for the AoE attack. Oh, fuck. What? Hold up. I got distracted. Speaking. What was the previous level? Okay, Robo. What is this? Colonel Ketchup? So, Colonel Ketchup, Jaden did better by 13 seconds. I believe they either knocked them down. No. I forget how. I think they grabbed him from the front after the scare. And they had Quantum Fist at this point. And then I believe they just attacked him right here, and the other bears attacked. Now, the reason why, and while their method did work, I actually have a reason why I waited, even though the reason it didn't work out in my favor as much. One of the last times I tried to attack him in front of these other bears, they all got scared, and they ran off. So then, as I was beating his ass, I didn't have any other fucking bears that would come get the finishing blow on him. So, I'm not sure why that happened with me, but that's one of the reasons why I waited so long to attack. But yeah, Jaden's was much better, because when I tried to do it the way Jaden did, it backfired on me. So, now that I know that you can kind of do it without them always getting scared and running away, maybe I'll change my tactic next time I try, if there is a next time. So, like I said, Colonel Ketchup, they had a 13-second advantage. Now, Stardust, I had an advantage of 2 seconds, and that is because Jaden played it a little too safe. I can see why they did it. I'm not saying I don't understand why. I see why, because they do a lot of damage. So Jaden, I believe, went for the stun and then grabbed and ran. I just grabbed him right here and just, serpentine to dodge the shots. But even though the alien missed right here, I've actually gotten hit twice and was able to complete the level. So you can at level 100, you can take 2 hits. Now, if you're at lower levels, you do not want to risk getting shot. You will be dead instantly. But I knew I had I knew I had high health, so if I did get shot, I could tank the hit. So I went +2 on that. Now, for a new game playthrough, you'd probably want to do the stun, because you're not going to want to get to level 100 in a new game playthrough. Like, that is not a speedrun, unless you're doing 100% speedrun for this game, which sounds awful. Okay, so Jaden actually started off with this level, and I can see why. This level is super fucking inconsistent for me. I do this thing where when I was trying it out, I wouldn't leave the level when I was practicing until I got 3 good, runs. Because the problem is, I think it's Silky, and they were also using Quantum Fist. So Silky sometimes don't actually see you attack Master Miyagi, and if they don't see you attack, they won't attack, then they'll end up getting killed, so then you'll have to bring him out to another pirate. So one of the methods I was doing, where I would do a mini boo to kind of get him to look, but sometimes the mini boo wouldn't work, so then I'd get behind him right here. Now here's where the scythe would backfire. The AoE, sometimes Silky would notice when you're about to do an AoE, so then he would automatically want to attack Mr. Miyagi as you're charging your attack. But then he would run and then actually get hit by the fucking scythe. So that's cost me a run or 2 before. Luckily, he noticed and went the first time, but I've had several times where he just never noticed, and then the other ninjas whoop his ass, and then I've had to restart. Actually, I think that happened on attempt 11 or 12. So I'm actually happy I got that one first run. But yeah, I could see why Jaden started with this level, because that is the one level where it's like anything could happen. So you'd rather, you know, mess up and restart early than halfway through the run like I'm doing right here. And also could use Quantum Fists. Buddy's pretty easy. Jaden picked a better path and actually got ahead by 1 second. And I'll actually point out my mistake. Because this level's pretty straightforward. You run here, you grab the knife, and you kill Buddy. Now, I have a habit, because I'm always used to being like Naughty Bear and no disguise. I'm always used to like running through the forest and running around. However, Jane just ran straight through, which is a better tactic, so this little detour I did cost me that extra second. So they just ran straight through because they were already disguised. I think they killed him kind of right here. So Naughty Bear just kind of walked through the center. So yeah, they had better pathing. So they won by 1 second. So Plesio, they actually made a mistake on this, but it's funny because even with their mistake, they only lost by 1 second. Meaning if they didn't make a mistake, they'd actually have a better score. And they use Quantum Fist while I use the Scythe. The reaction, just me running up and grabbing the bell. Yeah, no, seriously! I didn't know! I didn't know you could just do that! That fucking blew my mind! Because I was always playing it so fucking safe. Like, I was just criticizing your run on Stardust for playing it safe. And then I was playing it safe, and I seen that. And that was insane. Okay. So, Jaden had Quantum Fist, and they attacked... I think, no, they did the stun first. So they stunned everybody first, and then hit him with an uppercut. And the issue is, I think they did 1 or 2 uppercuts, but then they missed, and so he got to run away a little bit. So that was their mistake. My method was to attack him, get them all to follow next to here, so he'd be close to the Sand Dolphins. I would stun to get them all, you know, to not attack me. Do another super attack. Now, the Scythe does do more damage because even with, I believe it was 3 super uppercuts, he still wasn't in an injured state. But for the Scythe, it only takes 2 hits. However, with how long the Scythe takes to like to wind up their attack, it's probably better just to use the Quantum Fists. Though and then I got hit here and I got stunned. I'd have to practice because with the Quantum Fist too, you gotta be careful you don't accidentally kill your target because you could just switch to fast X attacks and injure them. But if you do 1 too many, you just kill them. So if I got a little bit more practice in, I could, you know, redo that with the Quantum Fists. So, alright, go back to Plesio. I had +1. But again, they made a mistake, and if they didn't make that mistake, I'm pretty sure they would have that one. Sir Rupert. Okay, so I'm ahead in Sir Rupert by 1 second. I don't know particularly why that is. Again, it could come down to the way I timed it. I could just, you know, mistimed theirs in my start and end times. So, but there really isn't much. You just run up to them, you grab them, you throw them on the plates, and you leave. And I said this before, the way a lot of these missions are designed, it really did feel like the developers wanted you to speedrun this game. Because there's so many things where it's just like, bam, you're in, you're out, you're in, you're out. Like, you can beat most of these missions in under a minute. And I think that's insane. Because there's 36, I believe. 36 levels. And the record right now is 39 seconds. So really, every level you can do less than a minute. And those extra couple of minutes comes from loading times and changing menus. Okay, so Comfy. Alright. So, Comfy. Jaden got this 9 seconds better than I did. And you will easily, if you watch the previous analysis, you'll see why. So, one thing about this mission is the bellhop, or I guess Comfy. Comfy cannot know you're Naughty Bear. So he can't see you as Naughty Bear. He can see you disguised, but he can't see you as Naughty Bear. And even if he can't see you, if you do a boo, or you're, you know, something else that'll make him suspicious, you automatically fail the mission. So he cannot even know Naughty's in the area at all. So I didn't want to grab him with Comfy sitting right there because I didn't know the range at what range the bear would notice. So my idea was to get the bellhop to come this way, and I could have even used that, but I decided to come all the way down here. And then I did a super boo on top of that. So I wasted so much time just to be careful to make sure that Comfy didn't see. When really, Jane just walked up, grabbed the motherfucker by his throat, and just killed him in the woods. It's the story of the knot. I tried to carefully untie the knot. Jane came through with the sword and just cut the knot. Now the boat's untied. And I did something. So I don't think Jade never did this. I would always unswap my costumes in the woods to make sure I got my stamina back. I don't think they ever undid their costumes when they would steal a costume mid-level. So they won Comfy by 9 seconds. Gruel's another one I fucked up on. Well, I kind of fucked up on, but also they had Jaden had a better route. Again, I'm being all careful, and Jane just went for the jugular. So they actually started with the herbicide, which, as I said, changing items, changing weapons is risky. You have a risk the game will crash. Also, it takes up time. I came for the herbicide because the herbicide's just right there. It's not really that far out of the way. So while I went left, they went right, and they just went straight to Gruel and fucking just stabbed him in the chest. I was scared of getting surrounded, so I decided to lead them all here. And then I stabbed him in the chest, and then it still took me a couple of hits. Oh, after I did a super boo. So Jane's method was easily better. You run in, you stab him in the chest, and you leave. I made it overly complicated, and it cost me time. So Jane won this level by 13 seconds. Okay, so because you need the Shaman's costume for DJ Fuzz and Udo, it's just easier to skip over them and then come back to them later when you need to change. So the General's another insanity mission. Actually, and Jaden actually won this one too by 3 seconds. Because they were much more efficient in getting the General to see everything. I had a problem where he didn't see one of the kills I made, so I did smashes so he could hear it. The problem is the General, he gets too scared easily. He doesn't become insane, but he gets scared. So what he'll do is he'll actually start running away from Naughty, and then he won't see you when you're doing things. So I kept that bear injured on purpose, so he would see that the bear's injured and to keep him in the area. And then I wanted to make sure that the General would see. Now he turned around, luckily, to actually see the murder. But I was scared he was going to turn around again, and then I went for another kill before he was done with the death scream bonus. And that right there. So even though he's watching it, because he was already in his death scream thing, he missed the murder. And that right there is pretty sure is what cost me that level. So I had to stun him, try to attack this bear, but then he's going to run away again. Yeah, like I made a couple of mistakes here. But luckily I got him to go insane. Performed an ultra kill on Gruel, and he got hit by the other bears. Very start of the animation, which also canceled instantly. I don't know if it's frame perfect or not. Really? I just thought you went in with the super Y. Are you sure? Or did you... Wait, did you do the super heavy attack and then do the ultra kill? Because I swear you went in and you did the super heavy attack first. Because if you did do the ultra kill, then you could have gotten even better time, because ultra kill takes up more time than just like attacking with X. But yeah, getting hit when you're doing kills is really risky. It could fuck up your game. Okay, so I'm just going to call him Zoctopus. So Zoctopus, I actually had a better time by 4 seconds. And I could have actually had a better time, but I was playing it safe. They were also playing it safe on theirs. But I was just willing to tank hits. And mostly, the reason why I'm able to do what I'm able to do... Actually, I think they stole an alien costume as well. I think that's cost them a little bit of time. I just ran straight for him. Like, I didn't care how many we were chasing. The only issue is, when you're grabbing that trap, that leaves you vulnerable to get shot. And then right around this point, as you see, I am running out of stamina. So, like, I can't really make any mistakes. So you get the alien's attention. Luckily, he's faster. And because he's body blocking them, even if they want to run, they have to run around him. Because you don't want them falling into the trap first. So I set the trap right here. He'll be the first to come into it. Now, the risk about leaving a bear in a trap for too long. I did the heavy Y. Gruel got injured. And pressed right, triggered ultra kill. Pretty sure that was 4 years ago. Oh, no. I was talking about this earlier. You submitted that run January 20th of 2020. So, literally, we are 5 years in 1 day. Because I was looking at it the other day when I was looking at yours, and it was 4 years ago. And I pulled it up today. It said 5 years. I'm like, huh. So, yeah, it's 5 years in 1 day. It's actually crazy. It's actually crazy how it's been 5 years now, and no one's wanted to touch this game. Mostly because they haven't re-released it on Xbox. I don't know if PlayStation still has access to it or not. But yeah, I was actually kind of upset when Microsoft announced they weren't going to do backwards compatibility anymore, and they never announced any Naughty Bears. And Behavior is still a studio. They still do Dead by Daylight, and they even put a Naughty Bear costume in there. So it's kind of a shame that we're not gonna, get anything else. Anyway, so back to the run. One risk about trapping bears is that another bear might try to free them, and if you run up to them, they'll try to attack you, which causes a risk. However, I have him trapped right here in the door frame, so the other bears cannot run around him because he's too fat and he's blocking the door. So I don't really have to worry about them getting in the way. I did a super boo to try and make sure I stayed safe when I was doing the neck snap and the trap. However, that was kind of unnecessary because that one bear was already out anyways, and I wasn't running through there, so I run around, which doing that super boo lowered my stamina. And then I was kind of worried that this bear right here on the mini map, which is right around here, was going to body block me. So I did another super boo to make sure they wouldn't body block. Maybe this part was unnecessary, so I either could have got through with 1 or 2 less ultra boos. But I got ahead on 4 seconds, but it could have been better. I was just kind of playing safe near the end. At this point in the actual run, I believe I kind of noticed I'm actually on track to take world record. So, no, I wasn't at this point. And I would unmute it, but again, it would be really confusing to hear me and past me talking. Although I would like the sound effects. The sound effects would be nice, but that's why I put the New Days music in the background. Why should I be one Panic would be on Steam or something? Yeah, me too. But like I said, I think PlayStation. I don't even know for sure, but I believe they're the only ones that kind of have access to it. Because I believe it might have been on their backwards compatibility. I could be wrong. Although I think Naughty Bear 1 has a glitch where they don't get as many policemen as the Xbox does. Although Panic in Paradise, I don't know if this is a glitch or if they took this mechanic out last second. But the boats in Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise, most of them you cannot even interact with to sabotage. And even if you can or can't interact with them, the bears will never use them to go get help. In my entire time, in all my hours of playing this game, and I've put a bunch of hours in here, I've never seen a fucking bear ever try to use the boat. So I don't know if that's just a developer oversight or if they took out the mechanic last second. But that's just a little sidetrack. I haven't seen you on YouTube. Tell this guy gets one new ideas. Tell him. Ben, Jaden don't care about your ideas. Alright, so let me explain who Jaden is. So, Ben, because I know you don't really care about Naughty Bear, but let me back up. So, I've been doing, as you know, I've been playing Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise. Decided to do a speed run. I did a speed run. There's only one other motherfucker in the entire world, I think, that's ever done a Naughty Bear New Game Plus speed run, and that's Jaden. So, Jaden had the world record for Naughty Bear for 4 years. And it took me a couple runs, but I took it by a couple of seconds. So Jane's here, and I'm doing an analysis of their old video, my video. So Jane could honestly retake the record back at any moment. So that's who that is, Ben. They don't care about Yu-Gi-Oh! Probably. And Jane, don't talk to him about Yu-Gi-Oh! This isn't a fucking Yu-Gi-Oh! Stream. I'm so fucking sick of talking about Yu-Gi-Oh! I got distracted. Okay, so he had a +4. So Professor Brightness, Jaden actually beat me here by 6 seconds. And their pathing is a little bit different than mine. Never done this game with this ideas. Ben, I already kind of know what your idea is. And the answer's no. So this level's kind of weird. I feel like you could optimize it in some way, but because of how large it is, it's easy to kind of get distracted. So my idea, and this level's very dangerous. Like any of these other Mega Bear robots can actually kill you super easy. So you have to be careful. So my thing was to get him to run and chase me. Very similar to Fluffy, where I was going to get him to chase me to where I need him to go. However, I wanted stamina, because you don't want to get caught without stamina, and then those big bears are chasing you. So I got all these bears chasing me, and I wanted to bring him around. Actually, I think it was attempt number 11 or 12. I actually had him run around to this side, and none of the other bears followed. I forgot how I did that. So here's my mistake here. All these bears got caught up here, so I had to do Super Boo. And then I tried to injure him, which I probably could have just grabbed him, because it says... Let me back up a second. Because it says I could have just grabbed him, so I think my slices were very unnecessary. If I would have grabbed the proper bear. Because I might have just maybe grabbed that one. So I did that. He runs. I miss. He's blocking. Having a bear block is awful, so now I'm trying to outfight his block. I got him there. I ran here, and I did a Super Boo because I didn't know what other bears were nearby and would attack me if I wasn't paying attention. So I was playing it super safe, and yeah, that cost too much time. What Jaden did, and James is actually pretty smart. Back up a second. So they actually grabbed a trap, and they actually put the trap right here, and they actually stole a costume from one of the big robot bears, so they wouldn't have a bunch of them follow like what happened to me. So when Professor Brightness fell into the trap, they just went through the tree or the bush line and threw him into the portal. I think it would be faster to get him himself to run to this side, but it is kind of a risk because you got all those bears chasing you. So maybe you could do both, where you change costumes but also get him to follow you. But yeah, Jaden got this one by 6 seconds. Show my knife. Make it. See? You're gonna talk about Yu-Gi-Oh. I ran for this door. Okay, yeah. No other notes here. That door's closer. Okay, so now is when I start changing costumes. And a lot of this time is just me, getting my stuff ready. So let's see. You can kind of tell, like, I opened it up and my brain freezes. I'm like, all right, what am I doing? Like, I know I need to change to the shaman, but I'm staring at everything and I'm like, what am I doing? Also, another thing that blew my mind is you can actually dress as the shaman while keeping, what's this fucking helmet called? Well, you know what? I wanted to say it, but that's a lot of words. A lot of words. I don't know how to say that. Fegugalo skull. Alright, we're going to call it the skull. So, I didn't know you could actually keep the skull on and still be considered a shaman. I thought you had to use the headdress. So, apparently, if you take off Sunbeam's face and you replace it with evil eyes, it'll still count as the shaman's costume. Oh, damn it. Because the helmet has much better stats. So, you can see here, I'm like kind of struggling in my head. Like, alright, where's these items at? I think I was debating on whether or not I wanted to change into the knife, but I said, fuck it. So, I made a mistake here, and, yeah, Jaden had a better time by 11 seconds. And what they did, because I completely forgot there was a trap this close to the entrance. So if you just turn left, right, just off the camera, there's a bunch of boxes here. Jane grabbed the trap, and then used that to do a trap and ultra kill, which is what I should have done, but I forgot there was a trap there. So my thing was to run up to him, because I think it was attempt number 11 or 12, where I actually did a really good kill on him, where I just did 2 super knives. This bear was chasing me, but I did 2 super Ys, got him injured, killed him, and I walked out. However, one major problem happened while I was doing this level. That right fucking there cost me a couple of seconds. Because when I was getting ready to do my super, I was all excited. Like, oh man, he's gonna distract those other bears so I can kill him with no problem. I'm getting ready to do my super Y, but now he's in combat mode. I'm facing this direction. So when you're doing a super Y or a super heavy attack, you're gonna lunge forward. Now it would have been better if I was like behind him, but no, I was facing perpendicular to him. And then my super Y missed, which cost me stamina. And then I did another super Y and it hit him. So now I got all these fucking bears that are mad at me. So now I have to run away and also try it. And now I'm killing all these other different bears. The fucking Unibear escapes. Now I'm just beating them normally. And I took a risk there because honestly, if he would have finished that, any one of those bears would have finished their super heavy attack on me, that would have killed me. I hope you ain't talking about this game, Ben. So yeah, so I'm out of stamina. I'm like kind of limping to the exit. So yeah, that Unibear fucked up this level for me bad. So yeah, Jaden ended up having a plus 11 on this. I thought about creating a misleading carrying no new game plus all platinum, whereas new game plus but with the requirement of needing to get platinum cups might be interesting. Not sure. I mean that would be better than I tell you what, that'd be better than 100%. That would easily be better than 100%. But as you know, the game likes to crash a lot. So, yeah. Also, I mean, maybe. It could be fun. But yeah, whoever does the speedrun is going to have to eat those crashes into their time. And that's got to suck. That does take a while. I don't think I'd want to do a speedrun over 3 hours. I think I'd get, like, bored. Because honestly, before I started doing speedruns, I was trying to get 100% on all my weapons. And that's all I did. I was just going for high scores, going through all the game, getting high scores. And I was getting super bored. But for speedruns, because it's only 40 minutes, I was happy to go through the game. Even when the game would mess up, you know, it wasn't that... I was frustrated, sure, but I didn't, like, hate going back and replaying the levels. Like, it was kind of fun. I don't know if I'd ever want to do scores. Although, if I do a new game category, I guess I'd kind of have to do a score, but... But honestly, I'm hoping, like, we can get some interest drummed up into the game and get some other people to play. But it'd be hard for other people to get into this because this wasn't... At least for the Xbox 360, this was never a physical game. It was Xbox download only. So the only people who would be able to speedrun it on Xbox are people who previously bought the game because you can't even rebuy it anymore. Now, if you had the PlayStation 3, I know they sold it as a Naughty Bear Double Trouble, which had the original and Panic in Paradise on a disc. So that's one of the reasons why it's hard for anyone to even get into this game. Because either you have it or you don't. Alright, so for Udo... Or no, we're on DJ Fuzz. So DJ Fuzz, Jaden had a better score. Oh, he had another comment here. If it's allowed to go back into the game, it crashes. It would be unfair if it wasn't considering the game lets to do that. Well, I mean, I figure it would be, but it's like, let's say in theory, because this is never going to happen. Let's say in theory the game did become popular. The speedruns would come down to who had, like, the RNG to have less crashes. That's what the game would come down to. Although, if the game did get popular, I'm sure somebody would be able to figure out why the game crashes and would be able to figure out a way to minimize it so everyone can enjoy it. So, yeah, it's kind of a double-edged sword. Okay, so, Jaden had a better run on here because I ran this way, Jaden ran this way, and when they got DJ Fuzz to attack... the shaman charged up their super Y and fucking killed DJ Fuzz in one strike. Completely killed him in one strike. This cost me my... Because I was doing kind of good on my previous run. I think either 12 or 11. Because I think 12 I kind of quit early. But yeah, fucking DJ Fuzz kept like doing this like weird Castlevania backdashing. And he just kept doing unlimited backdashes and the other bears could never catch him. So which is why I kind of stay close to the area to make sure that he stays focused on me. So when he backdashes to another bear. But yeah, Jaden got DJ Fuzz to get killed in one hit. Now, if you see at this point, the game's starting to glitch out, so I didn't have much time left before the game's going to crash. Because the minimap is freaking out. When the game's doing this, you know you do not have much time left before you're getting a crash. So yeah, Jane won this by 2 seconds. So now we're changing once again. So I had two potential ways I wanted to do this level. My first couple of speedruns, I did it where I wouldn't actually pre-change into the general's costume. I'd actually steal the costume from him. And that kind of backfired on me several times. And even when you do it, it's like 10 seconds longer, so you might as well just change into the general. So it's pretty straightforward. You change into the general, you run up. Make sure I went through the thing to get more stamina. You grab Cozy and you put him in the cannon. The only thing I was scared of, and why I let him walk a couple of seconds, I didn't want the other bears to like shoot and hit the cannon and break the cannon. Because the only other cannon on the map is on the other side. I don't even know if them shooting can break the cannon. But I did not want to risk it. So yeah, pretty straightforward. Let's go back. Cozy. So I actually did. I lost this one by 2 seconds. I believe it's because I waited those 2 seconds before I grabbed Cozy. And they just grabbed Cozy immediately. So don't be scared. Just grab Cozy. Next one's Dr. Doctor, and this is another level that cost me some time. Honestly, I thought this level cost me the fucking run. Where is it at on my little chart? Honestly, it cost me 2 seconds. So at first, because Jaden did this too, because at first I would actually run to the back of the map, injure Dr. Doctor, or not injure. I'd take his costume to come back. But one problem I kept having with that is that Chubby would walk out of this room, this first little like pavilion right here. So then I had to grab him, walk with him throughout all the ninjas, and put him here. So what I ended up doing was I would injure Chubby with a super heavy attack with the scythe, go get Dr. Doctor, and then grab him while he's still injured in the pavilion. But then I decided, why not just change to Dr. Doctor? While changing is faster, I made a mistake. Because I think at this point, I decided like, okay, I'm actually on record to get world record. So I didn't want to take any like extra time. So instead of doing a super boo, I just ran straight to grab him, and this backfired heavily because of fucking Master Miyagi right here. And I tried to run into the woods to get him to stop chasing, but again, because my radar was messed up, I didn't notice when he was coming up on me. So when he came up, that was it. He killed me. So I had a couple seconds wasted there. So I had to restart the whole fucking mission, and then I ended up doing the super boo like I should have did the first time. And read your check. Dr. Jack didn't get sent through my Mega Boo. I had no idea why, I'm pretty sure. Honestly, the Mega Boo does kind of fuck up sometimes. I will say that. So, yep, I did the super boo and grabbed him. So I think if I would have did that at first, because even though I died, I only lost by about 2 seconds. So it is much faster just to change to Dr. Doctor's costume before the match starts than to run and get him. Because you also have to re-chase down Chubby and walk him back to the defluffer. And again, it also would be faster if you could just grab him and not super boo. And I'm pretty sure someone could dodge. I think if I would have went more left into the woods, I probably could have, lost him, but it is what it is. So now, at this point, I decided to do the other couple, the 4 bears, where you have to be naked or undisguised. Well, I guess for Chief Gordon, you don't have to be naked, but you have to be undisguised. But there's no point just taking off one costume and then killing him, so I might as well just take everything off, because it's not like having the other bears see you use anything. All right, so going to normal. Jane and I actually took different routes. I went left, they went straight. And so I went around this way, they went around that way. But we ended up having the same exact time. Now, normal, I was actually kind of worried about. So I kill him, right? But the thing didn't pop up. And I even pressed select just to... Oh, fuck. Just to check. Okay. So if you see right here, the game didn't say that I killed him. So I was kind of worried that the game didn't actually register me killing normal. However, and I actually waited a little bit just to make sure, just because it didn't say it in level, it actually counted right here. So yeah, that's kind of where that cost me. Daddles, we did more or less the same thing. We took slightly different routes and then ended up with the same fucking problem. Where's Daddles at on my... Hold up. There's Daddles at on my chart. We actually also got the same time for Daddles. So Jaden went through here. I went through here, and there's a specific reason why. Because, well, I wanted to make sure Daddles seen me without this other bear getting attention first. So Daddles... I hate that fucking double click. So Daddles sees... he sees, and he notices, however, he's still, like, pointing at Naughty Bear while Daddles is already running. Because you don't want him to fall into the trap. So Daddles is ahead. My problem is I got too close to him because I wanted to make sure Daddles fell into it. So then Daddles started attacking me, and then I was worried he was going to miss the trap. So I should have backed up a little bit before activating the trap, and I kind of had a better time there. And I believe on Jaden's run, they also got attacked by Daddles. So even though we took slightly different routes, we ended up with the same time because we ended up with the same issues. So that's a little funny. I'm pretty sure Jaden don't give two fucks about Yu-Gi-Oh. All right, so Chief Gordon. Jaden beat me by 2 seconds, and honestly, I don't really know what I did to cost me 2 seconds. I might have to recheck theirs. Honestly, it could have been down to the kill animation, although maybe not. Yeah, I'm not sure where those 2 seconds came from. Not really sure. Press J and L on the keyboard to go 10 seconds back and forward in a video, thought I'd tell you. Well, I didn't want to go 10 seconds. I'm just trying to pause. The problem is when I do like to double click to pause it like that, because I don't know, my computer's like sometimes it delays, so I don't know if it actually paused or not. So I do the double click, and yeah, it brings me out. So Doctor yeah. So Doctor was my last one. Because I messed up so many times, I'm like, fuck, there's no way I can get world record. There's no way I can beat the record. But I looked over and I seen my time was 38 seconds, and then I got that like that anxiety in your chest. I'm like, oh god. I could actually do it. Because I was actually on record, I believe, the night prior, and I messed up somewhere. So Jane and I had two different things here. Let me pull up Doctor. So actually, Jaden had 2 seconds better than mine because I played a little safe. So instead of running straight for Doctor, I broke the window, and that's kind of important later. Now, when Jaden did their Super Boo, Doctor did not get stunned, so they actually could have had an even better time. So on this level, everyone's got a gun, and then you got two hunters that have guns. And Naughty Bear, while naked, can't take that much damage. So here's the thing: when I attacked the windows, that got them suspicious, so they walked out here. Which had them shoot Naughty Bear. When Jaden was doing there, since they didn't break windows, the hunters were right there. So honestly, I think the windows didn't really help me. And if anything, they might actually hurt my chances. And then I seen that bear right there in the window, or in the door frame. I'm like, motherfucker, they're gonna block me. And luckily, they just ran the other way. But I had no health. And yeah, that was it. So for Doctor, like I said, they beat me by, what was it? Where's my, yeah, 2 seconds. So, okay. Now that video is over. So now, like I said, I'm going to bring out my chart. Okay, so I was working on, I almost streamed last night, but I decided to work on this chart. So now the way I have it, I have Jaden's time, my time, and the difference. So red means that Jaden had the better time by that many seconds. Green means I had the better time, and yellow equals sign. Obviously, they're the same. So as you can see, there's a lot more red than there is green. Now, the time that was improved on the most was Fluffy, and Jade and Chad actually did that. Or switching to Doctor's costume for Chubby's mission is smart. Yeah, because I timed it myself a couple times. It's about roughly 10 seconds faster sometimes. So there's more red, but I have one good green. Now, I actually did two things here. I added up only Jaden's differences. And then what I also did is after I added up their differences, I minus my time. So here's what we see. So Jaden's individual times beat my times by 31 seconds. So when you think about, like, all right, well, teammate, how did you get the world record if they have better individual times? Well, it's two things. One, they spent a lot more time changing costumes than I did. And also, the way they routed it, they were constantly switching back and forth between the levels, which doesn't seem like that much, but like it did cost about a second each time they were doing it, because I was just going from level to level. Like, I was just hitting start, continue, start, continue, start, continue. They were going forward, backwards, forward, backwards. Honestly, it would have been hard for me to memorize that route. The reason why I routed it the way I did wasn't really for anything, wasn't really super intentional. I just try to make it as less like back and forth as possible because I was going to forget. And then right here I have improvement. So this is just Jane's improvement off my time alone. So this is without me incorporating any of mine. So theoretically, if you're to do my best routes and Jane's best routes, you could actually knock 1:30. Theoretically, again, 1:30 off the current world record to get 38:11. And again, this is theoretical, so it actually might be a little bit higher because, again, I'm not counting the times that you're changing costumes and the times you're in menus. However, that's also not counting the times that Jane and I both messed up and that an extra person could just come through, or one of us could come through and just improve on our own stuff. So, yeah, that is my analysis. Since that's not the full 2 hours, what I'm going to do is I'm going to re-pop in Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise, and I'm just going to do a slow kind of new game playthrough. I'm not going to do the whole thing. I'm just going to get a couple things because there is no records right now for Naughty Bear new game playthrough. Basically starting the game from scratch. So, you know, anyone literally putting a time of 20 hours would be number one. But if you want to route the new game, there's a couple things you need to note. One, you have to buy a minimum of 4 items. Well, I mean, you know, I'm glad you liked it. And I enjoyed it too because one of the reasons why I started a speedrun is because just playing the game without like any kind of challenge, it's boring. Like, let's be honest, it's slop content. Most of my videos is just me streaming games, and it's boring. Like, even my commentary on it's boring. I get bored. I've been bored for a while. So I thought the speedrun was cool, and also like something where I'm not playing a game where I'm actually like talking and, you know, thinking about things through. You know, it's fun for me. Like, it's fun for me as well. So anyways, going back to the Naughty Bear thing, and I'm gonna let's see. I'm gonna pull here. Oh, I just noticed the New Day's music stopped. So this whole time I was supposed to have music. Oh well. Let's see. Okay. So yeah. I'm gonna pull up Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise. So like I was saying, there's at least 4 items you need to buy. And that's because the items you need cannot be found in the levels. Because there's some levels like Danger Bear where you have to use the Rod of Justice, and he has the Rod of Justice. However, there's a second Rod of Justice in the level if you use the Golden Key. The levels where this is not possible is Stardust level, because Sunbeam is not in the level at all. So you actually need to take Sunbeam's face in a different level and then buy it. You also need to take the Voodoo costume and then buy that. So that's at least 4 items you have to buy. The 3 sets for the Voodoo and then Sunbeam's face. It's also a good idea to make sure you level up to get the Super Boo, which I believe unlocks at level 20. And I'm hoping if I just turn over to broadcast, it will pull up. All right, cool. I was honestly kind of worried that my thing would mess up. So I deleted. So I still have my 100% file, which is on my the console, but on the hard drives where I had my original file from back in 2014, I erased that, so it's a free file, and we're gonna do continue without saving. So I wonder if you disable the autosave, if there's less chance it'll crash. So
Well, that was an
I also
exhausting
need to
trip,
figure out
wasn't
how
it,
much
Naughty?
money
We've arrived at...
it's gonna take to buy these items. So you need to figure out what items you need to buy. You need to figure out how much they're gonna cost, and then you might want to figure out how much XP you need to hit level 20.
You should... Welcome to Paradise Island Resort.
So this is going to be a sort of practice for new game playthrough. Oh my god, look at your health!
When you're hidden in the woods,
Oh my god! Yeah, so the challenging part about this playthrough is
not
fucking dying. So you can do the Mega Boo, but it doesn't stun.
You can grab... Well done, Naughty. Now that you've successfully...
Ooh. Oh, wow. Okay, literally, I'm not going to do it tonight, but literally if I just started up my timer, I could just say this is the new game playthrough, and because no one else has ever done it, I would have number one.
To the shop.
In like 2 seconds. That's insane.
In every area, you have to...
So then you gotta click through all this crap. Oh, man, and you can't just run because, again, because you have, like, no health, you can't risk even getting punched. Honestly, I think a new game playthrough would be challenging, other than the fact that the game would crash. Trying to figure out the best... Because, you know, when you're level 100, you don't really have to worry about bears getting it up on you, but when you have to worry about that, it has a completely new dynamic. Like, you don't even have the super attack. Like, I'm hitting Y right now. You don't have the super attack. So you actually have to be stealthy and be careful. And I still have no disguise. Oh, man. I don't think there's a disguise. Well, no, you can steal someone's face. Also, you had to get... If you want a weapon to carry over, you have to get a kill with that weapon. Oh, my God. And his stamina doesn't recover fast either. Oh, my Lord. Honestly,
Such a sweet, sweet noise
I
the
think a new
bamboo
game
fountain
playthrough
makes.
would be kind of
What a
fun.
gentle trip through those deadly
Though,
sharp bamboo
I don't think I could
sticks.
do this immediately. I did set a goal to play Naughty Bear 1 for the first Super Chat I ever got. And because of the real Urple guy, who was actually visiting your channel, Jaden. You don't take that much damage right now. Because of that, I hit the goal. And actually, my Naughty Bear 1 just came in today. So I think instead of playing Naughty Bear Panic in Paradise, I might play Naughty Bear 1. My only issue with that is, you know, if I'm playing a different game, I might get a little bit rusty when I decide to come back to this one. But, wow. Like, look at this. Like, this would be insane to do. Alright, so traps would literally be your best friend. Like, if you're not using traps, there's just no way. Honestly, kind of end early. I know I didn't go 2 hours, but like, who the fuck wants to watch this? Like, if I had more time, sure, I'd like to play a little bit more, but I only got about 30 minutes left before I'm getting ready to go to bed, and there's no way I'm getting that far. So, all right, I'd have to do some theory crafting on that, but yeah, I do kind of plan, because of how difficult this looks, I do kind of plan to do a new game playthrough speedrun. So we'll see. Ran Naughty Bear 1 before. The run for that can be fun. I know a lot more people actually have ran that one, so I know that one would be more difficult. I'm going to be honest with you. The reason why I went for this game is, well, one, I kind of figured there isn't that many glitches that could help you, because one of the reasons why I don't want to speedrun other games, because like things like Mario 64 and Mario 1, all the glitches you have to do, I wouldn't be able to... I can't even barely do a backwards long jump in Mario 64. So anything that requires like a high skill level for glitches, it's not something I could do. Also, when I realized there's only one other fucking person, I'm like, oh, come on. Even if I fuck up, I'm at least number 2. But, alright. Well, that is it for my analysis. So, smart. Yeah. Yeah. I can't even do like the wall jumps where you had to like jump pixel perfect when you touch a wall. I can't even do that. So let's go back to my transition screen. So between this analysis and my analysis from last week, if anybody out there wants to run this game, you have the information you need. You have Jaden's run to look through. You have my run to look through. You have my commentary on both of ours. I know on speedrun.com, Jaden put out a forum about their run. So you have everything out there you need. And our runs are not optimized. Like, they made mistakes, I made mistakes. So you could just come in and just fix our mistakes and get number 1. So if anyone's out there and y'all want to get world record and you can get your hands on Nightmare Panic in Paradise, I recommend going for it. It'd be fun, add some competition to the game, and even if you fail, you'd at least be number 3 without even trying. So, alright, that's my final thoughts. So, yeah, next time I get back on will be Naughty Bear 1. That is all I got for now. Thanks for watching.